you had the opportunity today. Cowboys' second day of OTAs is the second of their 8 practices before mandatory minicamp on June 14th through the 16th. I'm not going to lie to you, Bobby, as I was scrolling through the Twitter timeline today, I was like, now, hold on. Now, it's day 2. Tyron Smith, back tightness. Your man, James Washington, in a protective boot. Jalen Tolbert working on the resistance core. It's like, what the hell is going on? It's just day 2. What's going on here?
And you got the interview with Dak Prescott, too.
Yeah, I mean, but isn't that kind of standard for day 2? We hear Tyron's hurt. Isn't Tyron always hurt? And, I mean, like, James Washington is just replacing Amari Cooper being banged up by day 2. So, yeah, I mean, is it the greatest thing in the world? No. Specifically Tolbert. Tolbert is the one that I think hurts the most because I want him getting in there, getting those reps, working with Dak Prescott, and getting, acclimated to the offense. Now, there's a lot of mental reps that need to be done as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not totally pertinent yet because there's still a lot of classroom work and playbook work that needs to be done. But yeah, it's a little discouraging to have all those receivers banged up. And look, I mean, like I'm a big believer in Simi Fehoko, but if they were to roll out their week 1 with CD, Simi, and Noah Brown like they did today as their top 3 receivers, that obviously wouldn't be ideal. Some things have gone wrong for them if that's what they roll out there with. But it's early. It's still early.
Hey, speaking of early, I want you to paint some pictures for the Tolos and some Cowboy fans. I haven't been out to the Cowboys locker room itself, the locker room proper, since the pandemic. Now, I don't know if you or any other reporters have been in the locker room since like this week or the past couple of days since the rookie minicamp, but I think it was your report or your email to us that CeeDee Lamb is now lockering next to Dak Prescott. The way I recall it, it was Zeke, Dak, and Amari all in a row. Is he in Amari's old locker?
Yeah, he's got Amari's old locker now. It used to be Zeke, and then there was like a space and Dak.
Yeah.
And see, that's the interesting thing is that this is the second time we've been allowed back in the locker room since the pandemic. So the first time was rookie minicamp, but this is the first time we've been back in there with the veterans since, it's been 2 years.
2019.
Yeah, and so that was one of the interesting things for, a guy like CD is that CD had never had us in there before. This is the first time he stood up in front of his locker and done media, and he's about to enter year 3. So it was a little bit of a new experience for him, and we had to ask him. It was actually John Machota at The Athletic had asked him that, has this been your locker? Have you been sitting next to Dak? And he had to tell us, no, I've been on the opposite side of Zeke, so this is a new locker for me as well. And he told us that it was Dak who had requested it, that Dak wanted him to come, be next to him and that they could, be locker mates and just have that communication and be able to chat next to each other there in the locker room. And so, a nice, team building, chemistry building exercise because that duo right there, their chemistry is going to be arguably the most important of anybody on the football team. So it's good that they're there working together. They've been in the Dak yard together, and now they're sitting there as locker mates. But, yeah, CD told us today that was actually something that Dak had requested, that he get CD as his locker mate.
Okay, so my next question, because I'm still visualizing this locker, I'm going to run down there one of these days in the next couple of weeks. Where's Micah
I'm going to need some help, CA. There's too many people talking. I need you to stand over at Dalton Schultz while I'm over at, CD or whatever.
Exactly. I'm visualizing the locker room. I'm trying to figure out which end is Micah Parsons on. Is he down at the Tyron Smith end, or is he down there with Tank Lawrence?
So you remember where Zach Martin's locker was?
Yes.
Over by the entrance to the shower area?
Yes, right over there.
And then so then if you go all the way to the other end, there's Tank Lawrence is on the opposite side.
Oh,
but Mike
he's on the LVE side.
He's a couple spots down from Zach Martin. He's
okay.
Like 4 or 5 spots down. And so I think he actually might be, if he's not right next to Tyler Smith, he's just a locker apart from him.
All right, very good.
By the way, let me back up real quick. Bobby Bell, Dallas Cowboys insider for 105.3.
Which, by the way, you know what a sicko I am, CA? One time 2 years ago when we were still out in the locker room, I had memorized where everybody's locker was, and I made an outline of it because, as you know, there used to be the rush to get inside and, get
positions,
somebody. And so when they traded for Amari Cooper, I had figured out which locker would have likely been his based off of who got released. Same with Michael Bennett when they acquired him. And so I was prepared, and I was able to just make a beeline while everybody else was confused. But that's the kind of sicko I am. I have diagrams of who's where at what locker.
That's a brilliant mind.
By the way, did you say that CeeDee Lamb, that was the first time in his Cowboys career that he did Stand-up.
Media wasn't allowed over there.
No. I guess that is true. I guess based on the.
You couldn't go in the locker room.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he stood in front of us for, outside the practice facility and stuff last year. Last year we would get him.
Not in the locker room.
He was roped off and there was distance and you weren't allowed. This is the first scrum he's ever been in and first time he's had to do an interview in front of his locker. Like this was people tight, crowded around him with phones in his face. And so that was a new experience for him.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I don't even think about that in the context of obviously the pandemic and everything else that's gone on, but I wonder how he'll continue to adjust to that now that he's going to be kind of that front and center guy as the wide receiver here.
I'll say that's something that the Cowboys, I know for a fact, have had conversations with the guys who are in years, entering years 2 and 3, and the rookies just said, hey guys, this will be a new experience for you, but here's what you need to expect. Veterans help these guys out, acclimating to this process since you guys have been through this before. But yeah, I mean, you think of a guy like CD who entering year 3, he's no stranger to this, and it seems like he's been here for a while and he's well acclimated, and yet he's experiencing something a lot of times rookies are just experiencing for the first time.
And you know what else? He's going to have to also figure out how these scrums go. In other words, Zeke is at one point during that open period, and then Dak is at another point in time. In other words, you can't be talking to the media at the same time they're trying to talk to Zeke or waiting to talk to Dak because there's too many damn people surrounding these lockers.
Yeah, now CA, and again, we're getting a little inside baseball, and I apologize about that, but a new fun thing they're doing this year, CA and KG, but CA specifically because I know you've dealt with this, they've told us that they're going to be bringing Dak and D-Law and Mike and some of the bigger names on the days they're supposed to talk. They're going to bring them out into the hallway while the rest of the locker is open. So you're not going to have nearly as much locker congestion.
Oh, like the coaches? I got you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look,
it works.
Nice little crash course into the inside of the business world when it comes to.
I'm sure the fan text loves this. Like I was just talking about inside baseball.
You have no idea, Bobby, how many budding journalists we have listening to this show that wanted to know the ropes when they get ready to cover these teams.
Well, I know obviously it's been a couple of days. What learnings have you come up with based on obviously these first 2 and last 2 days of practice that the Cowboys have had as they begin the OTAs this offseason?
Well, first day was not open to us. We're only getting 1 day a week, which is a little bit of a change up from the past, but we're only getting 1 day a week of the OTA. So today was our first day being in there. The thing that really stood out to me is that Dak he's moving like, 2020 training camp Dak or whatever. I mean, this is pre-broken leg against the Giants. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is that his movement, the way he's running around the pocket when he's rolling out in practice, it looks cleaner and smoother than it has in 2 years. So I think that that's something that everybody can be really excited about and feel confident. But today my impression was watching him move around the pocket was I don't think we're going to see these instances of him being hesitant to run again or looking like he's, slowly galloping. He looks back to full strength with his legs to me. And so that was a big takeaway for me. I also thought it was interesting that with Tyron Smith out today, it was Matt Waletzko, the 5th-round pick at left tackle today. It wasn't Josh Ball. They didn't,
6'7".
It wasn't Tyler Smith with Connor McGovern in there at left guard. Connor McGovern was with the first team left guard today, not Tyler Smith. But that seemed like a deference they were giving to a lot of the veterans, just working the rookies in, because just about all the rookies were kind of in the second and third team today. But I did find it interesting that Waletzko was the guy that had stepped up instead of Josh Ball, who's been here for a year now. And I think that should be a little concerning to Josh Ball, and he didn't have another great day of practice. So I think what you're seeing early on is what Matt Waletzko is likely your swing tackle behind Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele.
Is there going to be a real competition for this center spot between Farniok and Tyler Biadasz this spring?
I think they like Matt Farniok. And I was talking to Broadus while we were out there today, and he was talking about how some of the reps Farniok got at guard. He was really impressed with him with the second team. And Farniok looked good in the season finale getting his reps against Philly. I know it was against mostly backups, but he still played really well. And they want to get better at center. I think they like Tyler Biadasz, but I think they realize they could do better. And so I think they're open to seeing how Matt Farniok does in training camp. So, yeah, I think there's a legitimate chance. I would still lean that's likely Tyler Biadasz's job, but I think Matt Farniok's got a real chance to step in there, compete, and potentially take that job in training camp.
Hey, Bobby, back to Dak. Somebody asked him, what did he think about, media and fans thinking the Cowboys are a worse team than they were a year ago. And his answer, could you paraphrase him and give us his body language when he heard that question?
Yeah, he kind of shrugged it off a little bit and said, look, we know the talent that we have here. And look, maybe you don't know the names, but that's just because we have some young guys here who y'all maybe don't know who they are yet. Like, you don't know who Tyler Smith is. You don't know who Jalen Tolbert is. You haven't seen these guys play. They're still unproven. But we believe in the work that we're putting in, and we believe in the chemistry. And basically it coming from that angle, but was largely saying, hey, why don't you give this roster a chance before you tell us who's the most talented? But also he made the point that I think we've discussed here on the air a few times, which is, talent isn't always the be-all, end-all. Like, I mean, that's a big part of it. That's a big part of the equation. But the most talented team isn't always the team that wins. It's the Scott Pioli line from his days with the Patriots, that it's not the best 53 players, it's the right 53 players. And I think that they think they're closer to having the right collection of guys rather than just the best raw talent. And so I think that was a line that Dak was kind of pushing as well.